Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda. All right, good evening once again, folks. How we going? Another day of absolute mayhem over there is what we're looking at. We're seeing all sorts of things get played out. Cazz is going to give us a breakdown on that because she's a professional on the information trail of what these guys are doing, these actors, and what's going on. And Trump's playing a great part by the look of it, guys. I mean, a lot of people are freaking out, but like Cazz will give you an explanation as we get into the show about, just what could be going on there. Now, last night I said, and, I probably shouldn't have said it, but yeah, I said that, like 4 years ago, we all knew Fauci's, it was Mother Teresa's. Well, we presume that, do we know that for sure? Well, maybe not. And there's some, but the point I was making there last night, guys, we've known everything for a long time, a real long time. And what we're seeing break out here is just unreal. Now, Germany, they're really hitting the disinformation code. They're going to bring that before the election in Germany as a bit of a stress tester and a bit of a point on that. The doco's back up, guys. All right, so what happened was the link that went up there was a Facebook one on the website, and they took it down. So that was our problem there, guys. All right, so it's back up there now as a download. Just go and grab it, send people to it. Thank you for that. Trump's winning the Mexican war, 1 month reprieve on their sanctions, and they've supplied 10,000 troops to the border. How brilliant, So we've now something else I saw out there too, but just watch what's going on out there, guys. I just heard that someone we may all know actually runs a Vincent Kennedy account, so that's interesting. If someone can name who that is, I'm happy to talk about it, but let's see if anyone's seen it. And all associated accounts that go with it. So, yeah, that was interesting, I thought. Probably a pretty big name, too. Anyway, listen, we got Frank here and we got Cazz here. So let's get Frank in, see what's going on, what they've been doing at the Governors, and how things are going around Sydney. And Cazz, how are you? Frank?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good, bro. How are you?
Good, mate. What have you guys been up to? Well, I've been busy.
Yeah, no, we've been at it, mate. We've still doing Mondays at Maggie's. That's been really, really good. Obviously, we got Charles McKenzie, who's in good force with us now. So good old Charles.
Here he is photobombing Sky News.
Yeah, well, what happened was, as we were walking back to our cars, Sky News was doing a bit of a news piece. So we decided to stand actually all of us, and Dougie and his flags and everything. And in the end, they just basically uprooted and moved because they couldn't take the heat anymore. So that was it, you know. So we got in their faces with that one. That was a bit of fun. Then on the weekend, I was at Isha's event in the city at Town Hall. And look, I've got to commend my Mondays at Maggie's group, Dave, because you know what? We rock up everywhere. You know, Craig Vine, Kat, you know, Karen, you know who you are, all of you, you know, Brendo, the whole lot of you, you know what I mean? Like, we just show up, doesn't matter what's going on. So we went to help Isha and her event. Look, I thought it was, I always think any event's positive anyway, but Jesus, man, we could do with a few extra people down there. I'll tell you what was really interesting though, Dave. The Ukrainians got on after us, and they were up at on Pitt Street, pretty much at the front of at Town Hall. Yeah. And they were in good numbers, mate, you know, wanting obviously more money sent over to the Ukraine. And here we are, you know, us fighting for our own backyard, and we can only, you know, I don't know, we probably had 20, 30 good, solid people there, you know, but we need more than that, Dave, you know, like, you know, we're in a war. We've got to keep fighting, you know, so.
You do. And you're doing brilliant holding the line. But, yeah, people, you know, you this is your life we're talking about here. And, you know, as we know, here in Australia, man, you know, the deep state's coming for us. All right, we're telling you every night. We're showing you what they're doing. You know, we're showing you what they're up to. So, yeah, they are hot on your tail over here. Okay, so it's up to you again, guys. And we need more people backing up Frank and everybody else that's out there doing it, okay?
And I mean, even with Mondays at Maggie's, I mean, God, if we got thousands there, David, I could tell you now, they're feeling the heat. They're feeling the heat. And I could tell you now, whether I get the Ritz or not, it's irrelevant. I'd like to see her walk out with her head between her tail. And you know what? It would domino through the whole country if we brought the first governor down and out, basically, kick her out, you know? But look, 40 of us aren't going to do it. We need thousands down there. It's like anything. Exactly. You need people. We need people, brother. You know?
No, that we do. We do. And, you know, we've got to start helping each other and getting it done, guys. That's what we've got to do. I'm stressing it all the time. We got enough people out there, guys. We had 2 million 4 years ago. You know, how much have we grown? We just got to come together and get stuff done.
And that's it. You know, that coming together is really important, Dave, because however this show outplays itself, right? This movie that we're in, when it's all said and done, we're gonna have to stick together. You know, that's it. You know, because if we want to be governors where we don't have governments and all the rest of it, then we've really got to start looking after each other and standing up for each other.
Nah, you're too right, Frank. Too right, mate. All right.
Just talk for a minute, Cazz. Sorry.
Yeah,
that was my stuff up. The Central Coast Council, Franco, the email.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Get into that, Frank. Let's have a look, mate.
We're getting it up. Just wait.
You got to put it up? Yeah, great. Now,
we're just gonna
what happened was, as you know, the respondent to the movie has been fantastic, and everyone's been doing exactly what you've asked them to do, Dave, and sending it out to their counsellors and what have you. Now, we had a young woman by the name of Kelly who obviously sent it to our Central Coast Council. And I'll tell you what, the response, I'll tell you what, is nothing more than comical. I've got it here in front of me if you want me to read it out if you're having trouble there, Cazz.
It's all right. I'm just grabbing it now.
Yeah, read it out anyway, Frank, so people can hear it, mate. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, well, good afternoon, Miss, Kelly. I won't pronounce the surnames, right? Firstly, apologise for the delay in getting back to you, and thanks for getting in touch with myself a few weeks ago. Although Central Coast Council is responsible for making significant decisions that have far-reaching impacts in our community, the matter that you have raised in correspondence regarding the vaccinations, wait for this, does not fall under council jurisdiction. Rather, the Department of Health or Aged Care manage the storage or distribution of vaccines and consumable products nationally. To the end, this matter is not able to be raised for discussion at the council meeting. So they're dodging a massive bullet there, Dave. It is important to note that the council meeting are meetings for their place to have front of the public to support openness and transparency, but they are not particularly participatory public meetings. Well, what are they there for, really? If you can't, they give you 3 minutes of bullshit, you know what I mean? So the council meetings are run in accordance with the Code of Meeting of Practice, which is prescribed under the Section 360, which, of the Local Government Acts, so, legislation 1993, and the Local Government Regulation. So it's all regulative, right? It's not a law. Agenda items must relate to council community strategic plan and within the council jurisdiction. Members of the community are welcome to attend the council meeting as an observer by being in the gallery and watching the live stream. And they can speak to the elected council during a public forum at 6 p.m. on the meeting on Monday evenings. If they do wish to speak to the forum, if need be, an item which is on the agenda of that meeting, so they're already outlining what they're prepared and not, prepared to speak about.
To talk about.
Community members. Community members may wish to write or to speak to a councillor about the matter, and within the delegation of the councillor agrees to support it. The councillor may raise the notice of motion at a council meeting. It is then open to council as a whole to support the motion and take other actions or no actions. And in this case, no action,
It's really interesting because we've had a similar response from the Gold Coast Council. Listen to this.
Will immediately halt the administration of COVID AI mRNA vaccines be received and referred to a committee for consideration and report.
Second question.
Can I move a different procedural motion than Councillor Wilkinson?
Well, there's no motion yet. So, what would you like to?
Just, Mr. Mayor, it's a waste of the administration's time to receive this petition because it's simply got to be referred to state and federal.
So you move that we don't receive it.
Don't receive it.
Not received. Seconder, Councillor Fowler. Anyone want to speak against? Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carry. So we're not receiving it.
Yeah, so that was Gold Coast Council. So they did not receive the petition, calling for the admin because it was So similar response.
Okay, people, this is why you need to be in your councils, all right? You need to be the Lord Mayor. Yep. You need to be the people who are on the committee, all right? You need to be. You people who are aware and awake of what's happening out there in your communities, guys, all right? It's as simple as that, man.
That's it. All right, look, we
actually talking about.
No, go.
Sorry, Cazz.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, no, talking about having Charles there. He did a piece on Laurie McKinnon. Now, Laurie gave plasma, not blood, donated plasma. Anyway, we did a piece on that, so it's worth looking up.
No worries.
If you can't publicly shame them, just take the piss out of them.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, let's go. Right, look,
we've got heaps of stuff going on. This is a report from Chick from Eric's court case in Albury.
Yeah, well, the prosecutor that was there today had the list of dates of when she would be available. I was sweating. I was sweating that it wasn't going to happen, but anyway, at least Brianna's going to be there.
So they've put the date.
It's possibly March. We've got to get confirmation of it yet.
Yep.
But possibly March sometime. So
with this brown guy.
No, it'll be with the informant, Brianna Gibson.
Okay.
So that will be. She will be there. So, but there for a while, I didn't think they were going to worry about allowing her to go, and she's got to be there for questions that she has to answer. So,
yeah,
pretty much. But that was a bit interesting that they won't allow my affidavits to be presented as evidence amongst as a counterclaim against when they present. So
how can they not accept your affidavit?
I'm learning.
We're all learning, mate.
So, but anyway.
Thanks for the journey.
Nah, yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
So at this stage, February 17?
March.
Oh, sorry, March. Okay.
March,
February.
possibly sometime in March.
We'll still wait to confirm the date.
Yeah.
All right.
No worries. All good.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
So, Wodonga Courthouse today with Eric, still waiting on a date for the hearing, but that's... Oh,
they love to play
the
their
Wodonga
little
Courthouse
system,
sign.
don't they?
Yep. Sorry, I was going to get the Wodonga Law Courts.
That's all right. We at least we have said that they had a good showing there, and they don't like making decisions with people present, so it's really interesting, and you can see why, because they're freaking tyrants. Like, listen to her words here. This is a Teal MP, Allegra, whatever her name is.
I support where the government is going with this legislation, but I want to go further, and that is the question I'm really trying to address is those people who are promoting and really pushing hate in our community. So currently, under the current legislation, things like some neo-Nazi protests which had destroy pedo freaks as a banner, that wouldn't be covered under the current legislation.
The hand position.
What do you say?
Destroy pedo freaks. Like, it wouldn't be covered, so it needs to be covered? Is that you're telling me that kind of signage needs to be covered under legislation? When does it get to we call out people who are in Parliament as being pedophiles because of the list of the 28, expose the 28? Oh no, that's covered under the legislation. That's hate speech. Is this
and all the evidence we've got about, young boys going into Parliament, you know what I mean, and being organised, by the young staffers and all the rest of what goes on.
And let's not forget, Dave, the Teals on the Northern Beaches who just got re-elected, right? Now, Rory Amon was the guy that got turfed out because of his misdemeanours with pedophilia, but none of them ever mentioned it. They just couldn't wait to get their pound of flesh. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
No one cares.
Anyone who wants to... we've got a delay here, guys. That's why we're speaking up at the top of each other. But, all right, so anyone in Western Australia, get out and support this girl. She's running for the Senate.
I think Roger Cook needs a little lesson in that he serves the public. He serves West Australians. So if a member like this bloke has turned up to Parliament House with other reporters and asked questions, then he's entitled to ask them, because we paid for that building. We paid for you to sit in a position that's supposed to look after the interests of West Australians. West Australians, when you go to the votes this year in March, you need to vote out Labor. Yes, they've done some really great things, but this is thuggery. This is telling us that we don't live in a democratic society and that we don't have freedom of speech and there's no transparency. And like he said, he only answers scripted questions. This is not okay. Taxpayers have paid for that. We have paid for that building. We have paid for those grounds. And we have paid to put him in a position of power.
She's really awesome, guys, and she's taking on the big guns. So, get out and support her.
She's having a go. Support her. Yep.
Yeah. That's it. All right, so you've got Trump, and he's going to, I might just bring this in now because it's hilarious, okay? Let's have a look at this Trump's announcement about the Gaza.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area.
He was very uncomfortable, wasn't he?
and we'll own it.
He did not know that was coming. All right, so look, before we just comment,
everyone's freaking out and up in arms about it, Kaz. So give them an explanation what's going on, though.
Okay, what he's done is he's just defanged the dragon. What he's done is Netanyahu wanted to create the greater Israel, and so he wanted to completely eradicate all of the people there by Trump saying, "Oh, we'll take over it and we'll look after it." He's being forced to treaty with them, and he won't be able to. And Trump, of course, will deal with this mass. He's not talking about walking soldiers in there. He is simply talking about building and creating a deal. Well, that deal is going to mean a beneficial deal for the Palestinians and for Israel, because everyone's like up in arms anti-Israel. Look, Israel's just full of normies. You got to remember that, okay? It's just these people at the top of it that are running it, and you got to look at the way Trump pushed in his chair as well. Guys, in social etiquette, that's how you treat a lady.
You know what? That'd be.
Oh dear.
It's
you can't see the humor in any of this right now. I'm telling you, Kaz, unbelievable. It is. It's just funny. It's funny.
Well, it is, and look, I get that everyone's up in arms because it looks bad. But even what's his name, Pollard, the spy, the Israeli spy that stole all the Pentagon secrets, he's come out and he's said, "Don't trust him. Trump is saying one thing, but he's actually systematically dismantling Israel, and he is, but he's doing it lawfully, legally, peacefully, so that there's no war, Then the endless war crew would have to be on the run because they wanted endless wars, and now he's just basically nipped that one in the bud. So,
and what we've just done, what they've just exposed, Kaz, with the US aid. It's just incredible. It goes so deep, man. Now they're starting to really bring some stuff up.
And it's just getting worse every day. It's really interesting that they're coming out with all of this information so quickly. So usually they hide things in shelves and off-shelf companies. It takes you a long time to get through it. It takes a forensic reporter to get through it. It's really funny because I've been really tardy with how they've kept their books and just thought, oh, no one is ever going to question us. Or, it's been sitting on the shelf in the background for a while. Let's have a look at what Bannon had to say about it. Very interesting comment here.
That's exactly
It's glorious to see, especially from the White House lawn. But to that point, a few days before President Trump was sworn in, Norm Eisen, the whole sort of lawfare brigade, they put out the third edition of what's called the Democracy Playbook, which comes from the Brookings Institution. And if you sort of go back to the core thesis of this show, I think really it emanated from Darren Beattie. Congratulations to Darren.
Undersecretary Darren Beattie.
Yes, sorry. It's the first time. That was sort of the theory of the case, that all of the tactics that they had used for color revolutions abroad, they were sort of turning the guns inward circular and now using it to bring about this idea that we have, quote, democratic backsliding, and therefore we need to get rid of President Trump because he's an autocrat, right? So they put out this new edition, this third edition, and proving our point, it is now entirely focused on how to push back against President Trump and domestic political forces. But I want to get even more granular here, because if you look at the verticals through which they have tried to push back against President Trump, and we were remarking on this yesterday, it's Jamie Raskin groveling on the steps of USAID, right? They don't have any levers of power.
Sad.
Yeah, it's lame. It's pathetic. But here's the thing. Democracy Forward, which was sort of the apparatus, the compendium of all of these resistance groups, 120 plus organizations, the one outfit that they set up prior to President Trump being sworn in was something called Civil Service Strong. And it was the idea that they were going to provide legal aid and resources to whistleblowers. Sort of, I think, a shadow impeachment, right? They can't impeach President Trump right now, but they're laying the groundwork, or they're trying to sort of do it indirectly.
They want to build the case and have the resistance off that.
And USAID was the linchpin on all of that.
Yes, it was. Very interesting. So all of the lawfare being funded by USAID. Not only that, but there's other stuff coming that's even more shocking. So very interesting to see what's going on with it all. It's just
there's meant to be a big boom coming out in the next 48 hours, Kaz, with AusAid. So let's just see what comes. But it's supposed to be a cracker's about to be dropped. So
that's right. Really, but look, there's interesting rants. There's so people that are living in the UK, in Kenya and also abroad, saying stop. Don't send us any more money because it never comes down to us, which it actually doesn't too, by the way, because it's called chai, especially in Kenya.
Good comment up there. Gaza Golf has a nice ring to it.
All right, we're at 20 past or 24 past, 25 past. I'm going to bring in. We've got a new friend to the show. It's Oregon.
Now it's time for Friends of the Show.
This week's Friends of the Show is Oregard, a small family-owned business based in Sydney. Oregard specialise in EMF protective clothing to help reduce exposure. They sell beanies, caps, grounding mats and Faraday pouches. Find them at oregard.com.au. Good stuff, guys. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, we've had a number of there's one rant here that I'd really like to play because she's basically saying, Democrats, hello, I'm waiting for you to actually stand up and do the right thing.
Let's talk about a hypothetical before we get into the real shit real quick. If someone robbed a bank, someone watched the security footage, saw who robbed the bank, told you who robbed the bank, you caught who robbed the bank, are you going to be mad at the person that robbed the fucking bank or the person that told you were being robbed? Okay, that's what's going on with Elon Musk right now. For those of you that don't understand, okay, Elon Musk was hired for the Department of Government Efficiency. What does the Department of Government Efficiency do? What is its main number one goal? To make sure that our government is running efficiently, dumbasses. And here you are, literally trying to shoot the fucking messenger because he is showing you that a lot of our money is being wasted on shit that is not needed. What type of fucking transgender opera do you need overseas? What type of all of these DEI inclusivity programs do you fucking need to be spending our money on overseas?
Now, she brings up a lot of really good points, yeah, but it's not only that. The BBC, they've been funding the BBC.
Yep.
The BBC.
Yes.
Politico have sent out a memo to all of their staff saying, we're unable to pay because we've got a glitch in the system. Very coincidental, I'm sure. You also have all of these universities in Canada that are funded. And you also have this thread here, and it's talking about how in places like Chile, if they didn't do the LGBTQI ideology, then it was, or the DEI stuff, then basically they were going to lose their funds. All of the comments are from people, and in Kenya and in Tanzania and in Ethiopia. So they had to do it. So also in Peru. So they've been blackmailing people who this kind of ideology goes against their culture. So please don't come at me about respecting people's culture because they have been withholding aid from them until they start with this stuff that is completely against their culture.
It's just incredible, mate. This is as I said, this is a box of worms, man, that these guys are panicking about, and it's open now. And the further they stick their arm in there and pull out another one, it's like the old, you know what I mean? Whoa, boys, look at this one.
Yeah. Oh, and it's not just that, though. The information's coming out about the FBI as well. The FBI had 5,000, so they had 13,000 agents. 5,000 of them were dedicated to January 6 protesters.
And now we got the CIA wanting to hand all their employees 8 months' pay to get out of the country and come to Australia, more or less.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Yeah. Let's have a look at this.
Fox News alert. The Wall Street Journal is reporting the CIA has reportedly just offered a buyout to its entire workforce. Everyone in the agencies telling employees late today they can quit their jobs and receive about 8 months of pay and benefits. It's a part of Trump's push to downsize the federal government. More as we get it.
All right. So Ariel wrote, do you see this? Do you know how huge this development is? They're throwing the towel in and waving the white flag. I know someone who's extremely worried right now. You all know who that is. Think CIA, Five Eyes. Who is the keystone? This should be very easy. Now, what's interesting about that is a number of people, and remember James Coney, and it may have even been John Brennan, were in New Zealand house shopping about a couple of years back, I think it would be. Yep. So it's, what are they going to do? Are they going to run here to Australia? Or to New Zealand? Interesting.
Well,
And they were buying up underground bunkers as well, apparently.
Well,
New Zealand.
the elite have got massive amounts of bunkers actually in New Zealand.
Well,
so,
now we need to see something similar come out the Pentagon and the military industrial complex, and we really know we're making ground.
Absolutely.
It's coming though. It's coming. The guy, what's his name again? Hegseth. He banned the legacy media from there and had alternative media only. So very interesting times. Look, it's we're at Huppa, so I'll bring on the flies because we've got lots happening. In New South Wales, we have the following events. In Sydney, every Monday, join the growing numbers for Monday at Maggie's. Gather together to end the tyranny by showing loss of confidence in the government. Monday at Maggie's from 11 a.m, Macquarie Street, Sydney. Come and celebrate our freedom and support for each other, our culture, and play music at the 832 muster from the 7th to the 9th of March 2025. The location is at Rollins Plains Recreational Reserve. The address is 28 Bilberil Road, Rollins Plains, which is 40 minutes northwest of Port Macquarie. The 832 muster will be at Deniliquin, New South Wales, 28th to the 31st of March. And in Victoria, we have the following events. In Melbourne, gather at the Governor's every Saturday to end the tyranny. 10 a.m. every Saturday at the Governor Gates. In Canberra, every day for over 1,000 days, the freedom fighters have been protesting at the Governor-General's. To join in, meet at the National Rock Garden at 10 a.m. to expose the 28, or tune in on YouTube at #ExposeThe28. And February is a huge month for the people in Canberra. On the 7th of February, it is a 3-year anniversary at the Governor-General's. On the 8th of February, they will be on the lawns in Canberra. And on the 12th of February is the epic reunion. The People's Grand Jury Indictment Picnic will be held at 12 o'clock on Saturday, the 8th of February at Magna Carta Place in Canberra. At 12 p.m, there will be a picnic. 12:30, there will be a speakers. And at 1 p.m, there will be the People's Court Grand Jury. My Place Gympie are holding an information evening on Wednesday, the 12th of February 2025. It's 6 p.m. for a 6:15 start at 735 Mary Valley Road, Long Flat. And My Place Gold Coast are hosting an information evening on Tuesday, the 11th of February 2025, 6 p.m. for a 6:15 start at 154A Scarborough Street, Southport, Queensland. And Jodie Lowe from 241 last year will be hosting a Real Farmer Day. Say no to Big Harmer on February 15th. Make the biggest exit the Who sign that you can. Say no to Big Harmer on Real Farmer Day. There's a free event on Saturday, February 15th. It will be held at 44 Coringal Road, Emerald, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Bring a chair if you choose. There is an urgent need for court support at the sentencing of Laura Adele Hinks. Laura urgently needs support and witnessing at her sentencing. She was found guilty of the abduction and attempted abduction of her own children. This is at Darwin Supreme Court on February 14th. 9 daily prayer space is held on X at 3 p.m. So whatever you're facing, come along and we can lift you up in prayer. Every day, 3 p.m. on X. Melissa 146233923.
And we also, just to add to that, guys, we have one of our freedom fighters out there, a grandma, looking after her grandchild who needs some accommodation in the Ipswich area. So if anyone can help out there. We also told you last night that someone's got a place around
100 k's out of Tamworth.
North of Tamworth, I think. Looking to see if anyone, wants to rent that or do whatever. You can get in touch with us. But we got someone looking for somewhere in Ipswich.
That's right. Look, while I think of it too, Rocking Housewife has put out another update on. Yeah, she does great work, guys. Please go over and support her by giving her a follow and a thumbs up and a like and all that sort of stuff because she puts a lot of work into it. I'll just pop it into the chat now.
Cool.
So yeah. All right. Candace Owens is on the warpath. Let's have a look.
Tip of the iceberg. It is going to get so much darker and it's going to get so much deeper. Pedophilia, pederasty, incest, lies, and trying to thug people via courts. You will never stop seeing it. I am telling you that all across the world, we are beginning to wake up to this, and I certainly won't be the person that backs down from this fight. I think younger generations, we are ready for the old guard to step aside and to allow there to be true light in this world. By the time I am done with this series, I am going to be calling out all of the absolute frauds in the media and the Western world who have worked to defend what they knew was a network of disgusting sexual crimes that were happening. Not a single media came to the aid. Rather, they smeared me and they libeled me and they tried to pretend. I remember they said I was having postpartum psychosis. People like Barry Weiss, formerly of the New York Times, pretending to start an independent free press, one of the first people who tried to use like Freudian jujitsu to make it seem like I was the one going crazy because I noticed some trends of pedophilia in France. Like how sick and disturbed does Barry Weiss have to be, the free press, okay, to defend this? Now that you have just even gotten the tip of the iceberg here, think about what she was willing to defend and what she wanted to destroy and ask yourself why that is. And she's not the only one. We're coming for all of them. By the time we are done with this series, there will be no more frauds left in media that you guys will not recognize and ignore.
Time we're done with this series. This series, Cazz. What's the wording there, Dar?
Series.
Mm.
It means that she's going to do a whole thing. Like there's a whole
yeah,
between
but just
series.
that word, yeah. But yeah, look, this is what we want. You know what I mean? Like it's gloves off. You know, and we're seeing this happen.
It's all got to come out, Dave. It's all got to come out.
Go, you good thing, Candace. Go, you good thing.
That's right. Well, look, it's happening everywhere. And one of the things that we reported on last night was, now this is David Hogg. He was from the Connecticut shooting, and he has just been elected as the DNC young person, I think it is, or young person speaker of the DNC young people's or thing or whatever it is. Anyway, but what's incredible is this thread here from his high school. Well, I wouldn't say friends, associates, perhaps. It is absolutely scathing. This guy writes, I distinctly remember he wasn't even at school when it happened, and he was too busy hanging out on CNN when we all went back. He was a plant that sold his soul while me and my friends grieved. Now, it's a very scathing. It's this very scathing thread because all of the people chime in. One of the people corrects him and goes, no, he wasn't in your class where he was supposed to be. He was actually in our class, and the teacher hid us in the closet. David Hogg wanted to go out, insisted on going out. In the end, he wasn't able to, so he pulled out his camera, and while there are the gunshots going in the background, he's saying to people while he's videoing them, he's interviewing them, going, what do you think of gun control? Should we have gun control? How scared are you? And they all thought they could not believe his behavior afterwards. He threatened people with his FBI father. They didn't like him at the track. He would chuck tantrums. So, yeah. Anyway, so it's very interesting.
How surprising we'd have a little patsy at a school shooting, Cazz. That's
it is interesting, isn't it? So, anyway, it's interesting. We see that Pam Bondi has been confirmed today. Which is going to be very interesting. So yeah, it looks like
she's brilliant, man. She is brilliant in her job, I tell you. Yeah.
Well, there's something interesting that's happened as well, because Illinois Ma, she was running a seminar on Zoom to illegal aliens, telling them how to avoid being caught, aiding and abetting illegal by instructing them how to avoid deportation. Now, Miles Strong has actually written this very, very interesting about her. And Eleanor May's father, Nur Omar Mohammed, was not just any refugee. He was a key figure a colonel in the brutal genocidal army of the Somalian dictator Siad Barre. The regime he served was responsible for the Asaka genocide, a massacre that claimed over 200,000 Somali lives. After the regime collapsed, Mohammed didn't escape as one of the oppressed. He fled as a toppled regime operative to the United States, bringing his family with him. he wasn't a refuge seeking freedom. He was part of the very machinery that was oppressing them. Now, that's interesting because I remember I was actually we were in the Rwandan war trials were in Tanzania in 2001 at a place called it escapes me now. Anyway, I was there, but we got told that a lot of the generals that had so what happened with the Hutus and the Tutsis? Hutus basically started fighting with the Tutsis, and then the Tutsis organised and started fighting back. Okay, and when they started losing, the Hutus then basically fled to places like Bali and Indonesia, or somewhere, and jumped on a boat and came to Australia. So that's what we got told. So there weren't many generals that were on trial for war crimes because they all just disappeared. No, they couldn't go. They could not go to the camps because they'd be identified.
Might be time to take a drive down.
Gladio. Smells of Project Gladio there too, Cazz. I can tell you. Anyway.
Well, interesting. Now, what's happening is that people are protesting the ICE deportations. So somebody's actually trolled them and gone out and driven with their car with the Ice Baby song.
Let's kick it. All right, stop, collaborate, and listen. Ice is back with my brand new.
Mate, they're out in force. They're having a meltdown.
Yeah, well, they're staged an insurrection as well, but they actually broke into the building. That's how desperate they are to stop the information coming out about with what's going on with the US aid. So very interesting stuff going on. All right, Franco, we're going to be taken out by Epic Song, and it was put together by Michael Gray Griffiths. And so if you'd like some final words, and then Dave, if you'd like to close the show.
Yeah, just three things I want to bring up, Cazz. Firstly, again, I want to thank everybody who just ends up at Mondays at Maggie's. I love that group. I love you guys to death. I'm heading down to Canberra this weekend for the fiduciary indictments. So I'd like to see as many people as we possibly can. And lastly, I just want to say, come on, Australia. We need numbers. We need you in attendance, whether it's Mondays at Maggie's or coming down to Canberra. Whatever's going, show up. We need everybody, all of us, not just the Truther movement. I want everybody to start, invite your neighbours. We've got to start moving along. That's it.
Yep, we got to flip the numbers, guys. All right, America is a 70 behind Trump, 30 Democratic dickhead on the other side at this present time, okay? We are the opposite here. We are 30% against 70%, guys. All right. We got hard work to do. All right. And we're not going to do it without being in the paddock. And being on the paddock means turning up with the things that Frank and that are doing. Anyone else, we know they're doing it in Canberra at the Governor General's. We know they're doing it in Western Australia at the Governor's house. Okay. There's different things going on, guys, but you got to be a part of it. Okay. We've got the other people that are doing our Forest of the Fallen for us. Beautiful. All right. But we don't need 100 people at the Forest of the Fallen. All right, we need 2 or 3 people to set it up and then let people visual it. That's it. It's not about harassing people. It's about people being awakened. You know what I mean? You need to be putting your energy into your councils, your schools, your meetings at the governors. All right, but guys, if we sit back, I tell you, these guys are not mucking around. All right, just Frank just said he loves them. He loves his Monday crew to death. Well, I'm telling you what, the government loves you to death. All right, in the words of the great Romeo Georges, your government loves you to death. The New World Order is pushing your government to love you to death harder. Harder. Okay, give me more daddy, the old Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah.
Guys, come on, we got to crack out of it. All right, we've got to be the example. Okay, have a great night. Thank you.
Night, guys.
We came down from Darwin with the dust in our veins. We drove across the Nullarbor, driven by change. There were convoys from Melbourne and busloads from Cairns. where we camped at Wodonga and fueled up at Pheasant's Nest. And there were tears of hope singing through our liberated eyes as we wrote freedom forever across our government's lies. As we wrote freedom forever across all our government's lies. And we didn't come to start a war, and we didn't come to hate. Instead we came to remind you that we were still your mates. And we didn't come to start a war, and we didn't come to hate. Instead we came to remind you that it was not too late. But our country had gone crazy, corrupted by fear. And before us, the long path was already flooded with tears. Yet in epic we were dancing, for we knew what we'd done. Together we'd made the birth of all our freedoms. And this new cry for liberty were the smiles in our hugs as the cops haunted our periphery like tyranny's new thugs. But for one night in Canberra, we knew we were aglow, and our luminance was shining like a beacon of hope. And we didn't come to start a war, and we didn't come to hate. Instead we came to remind you that we were still your mates. And we didn't come to start a war, and we didn't come to hate. Instead we came to remind you that it was not too late. So never forget how, by just being authentic, we drew a deep line in their cold sand from a showground called Epic. So never forget how, by leading the way, we wrote a fresh song of freedom that you can still sing today. So sing like you've never sung before. Sing now like your soul's found its wings. Sing out like an echo through our time, until our grandchildren are born humming our lines. Until our grandchildren are born into freedom's warm and glorious light. So come on, Australia, sing like you've never sung before.